Behold, cold open.
So Winnie and I had a day date. She took the day off, and we went to the Art Institute
Classic.
of Chicago.
Class.
It's assumed, but yes, of Chicago. Folks, Chicago's got great museums. They got some wonderful stuff. I have two anecdotes for you, Tom, and the class that I would like to share from our art trip. The first was there is a section, and I've been in the Art Institute many times. I don't know why I never saw this before. There's a room that is a historical recreation of like the original Chicago Stock Exchange before it moved to what was the post office building now, which is not even a post office building now.
Actually, Joe, I can tell you why you haven't seen that before. It's because
It's the nerd shit section.
No, because Joe, what you did was you stumbled into a ghost room that hasn't existed for 100 years.
That's true, and it sucked that the ghost room was mostly like not set up then. But it is obviously like the original, what looked like a period appropriate stock exchange time. And I just immediately, I walked in there, because it's a big cavernous room with lots of echo, and you're like, my brain was going, and I immediately was like, I need to get a bunch of people in period-appropriate clothing to be, like, doing stock futures for video game mechanics that have not come out yet.
Jumping,
so it's like
jumping, 500 on
yeah.
jumping.
Yes, like, there's a panic sell because, like, someone realizes that getting hit and moving back a bunch sucks.
And it's just like, hear this. The inventory where you run out of slots is tanking. Sell now.
Isn't it cool that there's an old way to talk?
Yeah, it's
I think that's Hudsucker Proxy is a very big movie in the sense that it's like kind of musical theater. Like everyone's just like very animated.
Get this, doll.
Oh my! But the newspaper lady has the best 30s lady voice of all time. It's so fucking good. The other thing that happened that was much more harrowing is we were walking through. It's funny how like the parts of the museum that you're going to be walking through, like you have to. That's where they put the boring shit no one cares about as much. Mm-hmm. That's where you got like your urns because obviously they're stolen.
Yeah.
But that sort of thing. But I was walking, and this was a field trip day, so there's a bunch of kids around. So there was three, I would say, either teens or like preteens about that age.
Oh, well, there's your problem.
For sure. And they were just like, the tallest one was...
their leader.
I assume... in charge, yeah, right. And when you're leader, one of those things that you have to do is you have to disseminate information to your, like, underlings. And she was explaining, and we were walking by, and I heard her start the explanation about how, so I saw that most of this stuff was maybe built by giants. Tom, I'm not, it was like, I just kept walking, but it felt like I'd been punched. And here's the thing, like, maybe they're joking. They could be joking. Like, here's some crazy shit. I didn't hang around like a creep to listen to where the discussion goes, but it's like they were talking about it. And like, there's a really good Eric Andre sketch. It's very short. It's just like him doing one where he's just like eating a donut in his doorway, and then he just gets shot a bunch, but he doesn't react.
That's good.
And then there's another one where he's just like pushing a stroller and gets shot a bunch and doesn't react. And it walking past the group saying, yeah, so like this is the deal with giants, felt like I was getting shot, but I just kept walking.
Were they looking at Egypt stuff?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, like it wasn't. Oh God, it would be just everything. Just everything here. Giants, art, history. Doesn't matter. Fucking everything.
Renoir, he was a giant.
Yeah.
It made all those minute details in his paintings much more impressive because he was 100 feet tall. How could he see?
Yeah. It's not looking... Well, my issue is that they're in danger now because they're getting close to the truth.
Yes, it's true. That's true. They might learn that the pyramids are just the tops.
And to be clear, the pyramids don't extend... Like, it's not... The same pyramid shape does not continue to extend. As soon as the sand hits the pyramid, that's when it becomes obelisk.
Yeah, they're just
straight down
the tops. Because if it wasn't just the tops, there would be no need for a giant to do it. Because a pyramid is essentially just a pile, which is the easiest structure that could ever be built.
Yeah, and it's not like there's like documented slave guides about how to push these huge slabs forever. But
I think the new like annoying guy fact is like actually they were paid with beer and bread. It was volunteer, but there was definitely also some slave. I mean, back in the day, if you don't have some slaves,
oh, those volunteer whips that they had.
Yeah.
For sure.
The giant dude. People are like, oh, the people are always going back and forth with Gen Z. The kids are all right. We're so cooked.
This would be before. This would be whatever's after. This is
fuck.
So what's that PS3 game with the archer lady with the robots? Horizon Zero Dawn. So this is the generation that's going to be doing that.
Okay. Yep. And they're in school and they're just like, when are they going to get to the giants? Like, I know that's critical. But we haven't gotten to them yet, and it's like 2/3 of the way through the school year. You think they would have brought that up by now.
I remember on a field trip to the Field Museum, which is a good museum, but if we're being honest...
That's where you would learn about giants, not the Art Institute.
Yeah, it's also kind of the most boring one. I remember because they had like old, like First Nations, Native American people that had the swastika stuff on it, because that was obviously a taken like symbol, and I remember asking my teacher... Were they like? Why were they Nazis? And she just laughed and didn't answer. I'll remember this for as long as I live, because if you go into teaching, it just seems like a perfect moment where it's like, I'm coming to you with ambiguity about the world. Can you set me on the right path? Because my background understanding of World War II via PC games is confusing me right now.
Well, Joe, I have to say that while I understand what Kid Joe wanted, as an adult...
Like, she was right.
Yes, I co-sign what she did, and I would do the same. Just like, hey, kid, I'm going to give you a little treat that you're going to turn over in your head your whole life. Hee hee, bye-bye.
It was such a Miss Krabappel laugh. It was sharp.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos Podcast, the only podcast for geniuses, where we look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I am Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
I have a bunch of new patrons. A number of them are because they joined so that they could play my fun game Time Force X Mission of Lenin early before it was released to the public. We did a great scheduling job, which is to say that if you're listening to this now, it has already been released to the public. So
go get it.
Go get it. And also, oops, we missed our chance to juice pledges, but whatever.
This is a long burn. The game is not going away.
That's
it will
true.
deliver goofs indefinitely. It is a like Rube Goldberg goof machine.
Much like Benghazi, it's not going away.
Right.
We got new patrons. Our first is gonna be Dayglow Tiger Shark.
Thank you. Is this $5 American?
They're all $5. Don't even need to ask. It's nothing but dollars from top to bottom. Thank you, Dayglow Tiger Shark. That's good.
Thank you.
This next one's got a funny name, Mucha Makuchi.
Yeah, that is pretty good. That's fun to say.
Yeah. Well, you say that, you didn't even say it.
I'm nervous now.
Mucha Makuchi. Thank you for $5.
Thank you.
This next one, this is gonna be my man Mitch. Parentheses. Sorry, I took so long to sub. Here's the thing: 1, I forgive you. 2, how would I know how long it took? How would I know?
You are the only one who knows the number of the guild.
Yeah. So just lie to yourself. You only need to convince one person, and then you're done. But it doesn't matter, because, again, you're fully forgiven. You can take as long as you fucking need. Also, critically, everything the sickos do is fucking free. That's just how it is. So you don't have to pay ever, and you're always sinless.
It's just timed exclusives, like the gaming days of yore.
Yeah. We'll send you a fucking CD-ROM of Chex Quest in the mail. Don't hold us to that. Actually, that would be so cool. Oh,
Those
damn.
are probably worth a lot, if I'm honest. I don't think we have that.
Next up is going to be our homie Alex Lawson. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for money. We love it.
Then we got this guy. Joe, you ever get a headache and you need an aspirin?
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah, well, then you better thank Sir Bayer for inventing aspirin.
Pop another couple Bayer.
Thank you, Sir Bayer. And then
thank you.
This is just our homie from real life. This is gonna be Honky Cat. Honky Cat. I know you
can't say
from real
that.
life. You can't say that.
You can absolutely say that.
Yeah. He's
hell yeah.
white. He can't. He's allowed to use that word. And also, it's Elton John.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that Honky Cat is subbing to play the game because he told me that he thought that the Mummy route should have worked. That it should have saved John Lennon's life. I disagree, which is why I wrote it to not succeed. That won't be a spoiler. And also,
mummies are inherently not successful because they're all fucking dead and in pyramids.
Yeah. And I honestly, you'd think the mummies would be giants, because if the giants built the pyramids, it would be for themselves, right? Why are they building a pyramids for like little guys? Giants can't
they're just
respect
passing
little guys.
through, I guess, and like, let us help you out. All right, bye.
That's actually, this is an interesting philosophical thought I've had. Joe, do you think giants can respect little guys? Like, do you think that like giants and would ever think that people are like equal to them? I feel like there's no way.
I don't think so, and here's why. Any attempts at communication would be impossible. The letters would be too small, so writing would not work.
That's so true.
They would not be able to hear. The sound waves would not reach their ears. The only way I could see it happening is if a giant was like, for some reason, like knocked on the ground for a very long time and was forced to be eye level with these little guys for like, I don't know, a year. Maybe they fed him, kept him alive. Is he like was trapped in something? I haven't thought this out.
Sure.
But anyway, that's the only situation I can see where he like comes to understand and respect them. But normally I'm going to go with the big no.
Yeah, okay. I have two thoughts on that. One, what society has ever had such abundance that they could spare the amount of food that it would take to feed a convalescing giant? You know they need a lot every day. Two, if you're trying to contrive reasons a giant would be lying down, may I introduce to you an incredible concept known as sleeping?
Yeah, they wouldn't be sleeping by little guys, though.
That's true. They'd be sleeping on the stone in the sea. Okay. Yeah, no. I think we've hit the truth of it, and we can move on. Speaking of moving on, we would like to introduce what we hope will become a recurring segment. We say hope, not to suggest that it isn't good enough or it might like flop.
I hope we remember it.
It's 100% that. It's we will forget to do it. The same way we forget to do all our recurring segments. Remember the Fate Wiki?
That ran out of gas.
It did. It might have the gas back again, because the reason it ran out of gas is because we were just like, this is the same thing all over again. But like, it's been multiple years. It's not like we remember what the same thing even was. But we're not going to do that. We're doing a new segment called Kiryu, I Think You Killed That Guy. Joe, if someone has never heard of the great man Kazuma Kiryu, who is he?
So Kiryu is the main protagonist in most of the Yakuza games, and his thing is he's got like too much honor. Like, medically speaking, he suffers from too much honor. Like how when you grow too much because of giganticism, not the kind that builds pyramid, but the kind that just makes your heart bad, like a Great Dane, it is like a problem. Yeah. He's got so much honor.
Because he's like the ultimate, he's like the true spirit of Yakuza in guy form. Because like the Yakuza is sort of self-mythologizing. Is like, we're not simply the mafia. We have like a code of honor, and we help the people. And of course...
And he's actually that.
Yeah, and all the other Yakuzas are like, don't you understand that's a lie, bro? Like, we're so evil. Don't you get it? And so he's constantly in scrapes. And the thing about Kiryu is that he's someone who's so against the prevailing feelings of the Yakuza at large, while being in the Yakuza, would probably get fucking killed. But he's the best at fighting. And what's his sort of his signature thing that he does?
The Yakuza series has honestly a just big brain mechanic. It's called heat actions, and what they are is it's a beat 'em up game. You beat up guys, and eventually, when guys get stunned, in some games they would just have like 3 stars over their head and wait for you to keep punching. Heat actions are very cinematic, badass takedowns that you never get sick of doing, and they're always cool, and they just fucking kick ass. The issue, of course, is Kiryu is a man of honor. He fights and he protects the people he loves. He does not kill.
He's Batman-ish in this way.
Yes. The issue is that does not clearly apply to heat actions, because like just looking at these, like so many of these are fatal.
Yeah. The thing. When Joe says so many, the reason that the Yakuza series makes heat action so good is because like, if you see a stunned enemy, you see the heat action button pop up, the context in which you are in like will determine what you do. And there are like, if you're near a car, you'll do something with the car. Like if you're, and also, there's so many improvised weapons that you can pick up during a fight. And like, it's and so funny because like they
just
have
at the top, all the improvised ones are insane.
They are off the fucking chain. It's silly that they even exist, because like the improvised weapons have like a durability of like 3 hits. So you hit a guy with the improvised weapon 3 times and it fucking disintegrates. So the chance you're going to get a heat action opportunity while you're holding one is so low, which I guess is how they get away with Kiryu fucking murdering
doing
men.
Saw. Some of them are just Saw things.
Yes. Let me in fact find one for you.
Tom has begun sharing his screen. Kiryu is holding a box of nails.
You can tell that it's going to be good because under his health bar, where it shows what improvised weapon he is using, it just says box with nails. Now, Joe, before I press play, which body part do you think is going to play a major role in the box with nails heat action?
I played through these, and many of the improvised weapons, for the reasons you explained, I didn't really mess with, and I have a feeling I'm going to be grateful I didn't see them. I'm feeling face.
That is a wise prediction. I will now press play on the heat action.
Oh man. Okay. So he opens by showing him the nails. Very Sesame Street. Just like, here you go, these are the nails. And then he makes him eat a bunch by punching them into his mouth, which I would think would hurt his hand, but it's fine. And then he just kicks him in the jaw.
Oh, you're missing an important part, which is when he has a mouth full of nails, he uppercuts him in the chin so that he bites down on the nails as hard as possible.
Oh, yes. So that guy's dead, or at least like never speaking again.
Mm-hmm.
So, also just low on honor as far as a move goes, let's be honest.
Yes. Let me see if I can find another fucked up one. All right, this one is a pure normal heat action. This is just occurs when you are near a wall, which is very common, and this is not...
Japan's got
weapons.
So many of those.
Yeah. So this is like one of Kiryu's bread and butter moves in terms of like killing guys, because... a lot of the heat actions, like he punches someone in the face really hard, or he kicks him in the gut and they like fly back 10 feet. And it's like, that's going to ruin their month. But they'll be fine. This one, well, Joe, I'll play it for you.
This is a two-parter.
Yeah, I'll play it for you and you can describe to the class what is going on.
So the opening part is he just slams... He actually does like a very sort of saloon throw, like you're being ejected from the tavern, like type throw straight into the wall, by which I mean all of the force is going into his neck and jaw.
Here's being the goon, the target, not Kiryu himself. Yes. That would be ridiculous.
Yes, a bunch of blood comes out. Here's the thing. At this point, I'm willing to concede this is non-fatal but fucked up.
Yeah, this is like, again, this would ruin the guy's month. It was and maybe take some time off of his lifespan due to the brain injury that this is undoubtedly causing. Definitely broken facial bones, but survivable. And also, I'll say it, in terms of a gameplay perspective, this is brutal enough that I would accept this as a heat action.
Oh, if it stopped here, yeah.
And then, well, part 2, and I'll play that now.
So this is a classic case of greed. He then just like roundhouse kicks him into the wall, and the way the video is currently paused, there's some clipping occurring in the guy's hat, which honestly looks like his fucking brain is coming out. So he wasn't dead before, he's dead now.
I can't emphasize to you enough how much this guy's face got slammed into the wall very hard. And the camera cuts back, and his head is just leaning against the wall. And Kiryu squares up and does like a forward straight kick as hard as he can. A forward straight kick with the leg is like, the other leg planted.
The main move.
That's like as much violence as a human body can generate. The issue is it's very hard to land that. Well, it's not hard to land that if the guy's head is perfectly still and against the wall. And yeah, so there are like blood effects in this game. They just shoot out and you sort of don't take notice of them. The amount of blood that comes out of this one is so fucking unbearable. It reads as murder so much. I can't believe they got away with this.
And this happens every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what rules though is when this happens, and because you've entered a new area, guys have more health and they just get up.
Oh, speaking of guys just getting up, there is a classic type of improvised weapon that you can pick up every now and again, known as knife. And you might be wondering, what kind of...
Wait, is it classified as improvised?
I think that you can purchase like named knives, but you can also just find knives on the ground. Especially, it's most commonly when a guy has a knife in a fight with you. When you knock them down the first time, they drop the knife. You can pick it up. Now it's your knife. What is a finishing move that you can do with a knife that wouldn't kill? That's a really hard question to answer. So the developers of Yakuza didn't answer it.
Yeah.
I will now play it.
I had this in memory, but yeah, let's play it.
Joe, what did he do? What did Kiryu do with his knife?
Like straight up, like kabuki style assassination. By which I mean he braces his elbow the way you do, like when you're doing the assassination, and then he just goes up into his gut, and then the guy's like, "Oh shit," obviously, and then he continues to push forward and up, releasing more murder chemicals.
It's like, again,
his ribs are gone.
Like, I played Sekiro. In Sekiro, your guy fucking kills everyone. He has zero honor. He has the amount of honor that a shinobi requires, which is, I will do what it takes for my lord. And his lord takes killing. Don't kill the lord. His lord requires killing from Sekiro. And when he does the cinematic, like, kill moves on the bosses... because the bosses, you only actually hit them twice. And all the fighting is just to engineer them dropping their guard. And then you hit them twice and they're dead. Like, the big cinematic slow-mo, like, absolute killing impale through the gut that you do in Sekiro when you're just like, yes, I beat the boss, they're fucking dead. Like, the amount of killing occurring on screen is what makes all the work you put in worth it. It's like essentially the same animation.
There is one obviously super fatal situation in the game that occurs a bunch of times that I actually don't think is fatal. And it's every time you have a boss fight, it's just two guys doing these heat actions to each other nonstop. But I believe they're not fatal because like both guys are usually glowing.
Oh, yeah. That's important. Glowing is very critical. And also when it's that cinematic context, it sort of feels like an elevated reality. Where it's like, okay, I can kind of
like we're doing a Kill Bill fight. Wow.
Yeah.
Like it's yes. The fun thing about Yakuza is that it's a simulation. You walk around Japan. You get to really play the crane game and then turn around and curb stomp a guy.
Yeah. When you're fighting like the goons who don't have crazy, like intricate character design and funny gimmicks, and you do this shit to them, there's just an element of groundedness and reality that makes it makes you go, oh no.
They also never stop being like entertaining / shocking. They're fast usually. Mm-hmm. You see them a bunch, and at no point are you like this shit again, because it's like, oh, there's enough randomness where you're like, oh, what murder am I gonna see?
So this one might be one of my favorites, because talk about one. You said this with the box of nails, that you're like, oh, because you rarely are fighting with a box of nails, so you never see this. I really never saw this, and I also didn't know this improvised weapon was even in the game. It's so rare. I'm talking about the kettle, like a tea kettle. Now you might be wondering what could possibly be done to have a finishing move with the tea kettle. Well, let's watch it and find out.
He hits him with it. That's... Oh, man. Okay, so this is like one of those Saw ones. So he knocks him down, and then he steps on his chest, and then he just pours boiling water over him.
Over his face, let's be clear.
Yeah, and it's like a good-sized kettle. There's a lot of water in there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just hot. How do you know it's boiling? The amount of steam reads boiling. Hot water.
He's really writhing.
This would be pretty bad at baseline, but because it's being done by Kiryu and he's got the classic Kiryu model face,
like he doesn't understand that he's hurting this man.
He's got the stoic, yes. He's got the stoic, like, I'm a hard man, honorable yet fair. And it's like, there is no universe where it is okay to pour this much boiling water on anyone's face.
These are just very off character, especially the improvised ones, as we had said. But this is so fun. All right.
One more. This is all we're gonna do. But this is the I think the most out of pocket improvised weapon usage, where it's just like, here you can't. There's no way you can justify to yourself that this is okay, because I mean some of these
because you can punch people really hard, and you're just not doing that.
Yes, but also I was going for like, there's no plausible deniability that you're doing this for any other reason than to kill. And there's no way that you could say that you expected it to be non-lethal. And what I'm talking about is the finisher with the improvised weapon of mysterious syringe, often picked up on the ground near homeless encampments.
Did not know about this one in my playthroughs.
Let's watch. Well, pretty simple.
He bites the cap off it. Do you see that?
Yes.
Like, it's still capped? Like, it's not used.
Yes. This is what I think it makes it undeniably like, oh, like, Kiryu, you knew what you were doing.
And then he just jams it in his hip and pushes a bunch of air bubbles in there. I mean, like, he's and then he falls over. But this is murder.
Like, best case scenario, it's full of a mystery liquid, which also might kill you. It's definitely not fucking sterile.
Yeah, and it's going to your brain and heart.
Like,
he's just like Batman.
Yeah. I was watching this. There were a number of ones that really took me by surprise. I was shocked by the kettle one, but like this one is like, I think this is as close as you can get to like an execution, beyond just like kicking out someone's knees so they're kneeling and then taking out a gun and putting it at the back of their head. And I feel like it's as likely that the gun would have the little Joker flag that says bang pop out and just kind of nick the guy in the back of the head. That's as likely as injecting someone with them in the mystery syringe and expecting they'll be fine.
Yeah, this is just to knock them down. I don't have any other means.
God damn. Joe, I'll tell you one thing that I love is coffee. You heard about coffee? You heard about this drink?
Yeah. So I've actually been doing some innovating on that front. I'm working on something called an Americano 2.
Yeah, because Americano 1 is canceled on account of Death to America. It's called the Canadiano now, which normally would be cringe, like freedom fries. Except
but like it's really warranted now. Like it's
Death to America makes it real.
America, yes.
So Americano too. So the soul of America as it is now. Give it to me.
Okay, so an Americano is what? It's espresso, and then you just fill up most of the remaining mug with hot water because the idea was that Americans didn't like the bitterness of espresso. You water that shit down with hot water, right?
Well, I'll tell you this is why I like and order Americanos, Canadianos now. And it's because I like espresso and I understand the flavor-wise why you would make an espresso. However, my American ass must drink coffee out of a big mug. That's right. That's how it should be.
Yes.
And so
you need to have like this thing you drag around all fucking day.
Yeah, and like also, if I'm having coffee, I want to be having it for a while. An espresso is done right away, and so like just like make espresso take longer. Americano, and honestly, they really cooked coming up with the Americano because like they got me in one. Like that's exactly what I want as an American. Incredible, but Death to America, it's taken by Canada now. So Americano 2. What is that?
Similar concept, but just made for our more insane, awful times. It is, instead of espresso, you take like half a mug of iced coffee, and then you fill the rest of it up with water, and then you nuke it in the microwave.
Oh, that is the, the incredible technique of starting with iced coffee and then making it hot. That is some real bullshit stuff you just said.
I think the only other fucked up coffee thing I can think of is just, I haven't done this, but I've like, it'd be really funny if you just stand in your front window drinking what is clearly hot coffee out of a dinner glass. Like physically uncomfortable because it hurts your hand.
Yeah. You know what I thought would be, this was my image of how to make the Americano 2 even more viscerally upsetting. The water you use to water down the iced coffee you'd think would come from the sink. But what if you were too lazy to walk all the way over to the sink and you were instead standing right next to a humidifier? you just pulled
free water.
You just pulled the tank out and poured some into your drink.
Well, you'd be off the grid then completely.
Yes.
Like, that would be okay. Except, well, the microwave part's an issue, but
Yo, that's so important being off the grid, especially as tariffs and an economy crash are on the way. Coffee's going to go through the roof. Water's going to go through the roof. It doesn't really fix the coffee part. It doesn't really fix the water part either. But you're going to be off the grid, which is what you're looking for.
And you're going to have a new bad way to drink coffee that sucks.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
We talked about doing a sicko radio project, and it's been not moving forward because of the way the world is. But wasn't it fun to think about? We're still thinking about it. We might move forward on it. You never know. However, we got one thing we want to read to you because we were talking about this and we got contacted by a sicko fan who worked in radio and has real knowledge. And I think this is very interesting stuff that people might want to hear. This is from a sicko fan who wished to remain anonymous. Hello, sickos. I was listening to your latest episodes where you talk about wanting to be a radio guy. Everything you said about radio is objectively correct, and you are.
Oh, love to hear that.
You are, as always, geniuses. Now, this is how you write an email to us.
This is how you get a letter read by us.
Yeah. He continues. I've worked in radio for around 7 years, give or take, and let me tell you, I initially started for some of the same reasons Joe talked about. That's implicitly calling you a genius.
Oh, yeah.
For example, how important it is as a community tool. It can be an amazing way to stay in touch with the community, especially locally. I believe, and still do to a small degree, that radio can be a uniquely powerful tool for the reasons Joe talked on, and 100 more. Maybe the email ends there, and radio is great. Let me scroll down a little bit. Oh no! It's fucked, boys! Radio in 2025 is a bleak corporate sales and spreadsheet-driven hellscape. Every person working in radio, myself included, does the jobs of what pre-COVID would have been the jobs of 5 separate people. For example, I am currently, insert fake-sounding job title here, for 3 stations. In the past, my job was performed by 1 fake-sounding job title here and 1 fake-sounding job title's assistant here. per station, not 3 stations at once. In addition to my actual job, I also do production, voiceover, event coordination, copywriting, and web and social content. Uh-oh.
That job is just all radio.
Yeah. So like the real job title, if they were to name it correctly, is like guy who does the radio. Like guy who just does it all. I did have a show for a time before it made me want to suck on a shotgun. All of our playlists and libraries are built by the numbers. Algorithms fed to our program directors, people who have long since had their talent squandered and passion driven out of them, by consultants and ratings companies dictate every song that goes on the air from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. None of it is live anymore. Any terrestrial radio station you hear taking requests is fucking lying to you. Every talk break is also this. Pure record-ramping white noise or sponsor mentions. The last blip of creativity is a handful of morning shows. I love that the morning zoo is like the last...
I have started, since I started talking about this radio thing, I have turned on the radio in the morning. And morning talk is like just vapid in a way. It's lo-fi tongue wagging. It has a purpose. It's supposed to just like be mindless and goes down easy. Whatever, but like the idea that like, yeah, this is where the good ideas are happening.
Do you remember hearing about Eric and Kathy growing up?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That talk about another time that like you grew up and you're like a kid. So like, what are you interested in? You're interested in video games and fucking candy and The Simpsons. And like one thing you do not give a shit about is the morning zoo. And yet every kid in Chicago, for sure, 100% knew who Eric and Kathy were.
It sucks. They're on billboards everywhere. Also, every morning show's like angle is like, we said it. And it's like 7 a.m. We're putting people in camps. What the fuck do you mean we said it?
We said it. Like the guy in charge of the slaves said, I don't care what the judges say. Like,
yeah, so it's like, you can't say that on radio. I don't know.
You can't say anything on radio, as this is fucking saying. The only thing that can be said is what the fucking people tell you to say.
I will say what is obviously a very rich well, and they go to frequently, is just, they're not real call-ins. I understand that. But the fake call-ins with like relationship type questions, those are just like a slam dunk for like laziness, but also interesting. And like, that's what it is. I mean, just tell me your fucked up problem about this weird person. Oh, wow. Okay, next. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. There's something to be discussed and studied regarding what is the sort of taxonomy and like genus relationship between the podcast and the morning zoo, because they're both talking, but I feel like they're different, or are they? Like, in what sense are we not?
Where's our toilet sounds?
That's a toilet. That's me trying to do a toilet
really?
sound with my mouth. That's a toilet, right?
You want to talk grim toilet death world? Is it? I listened to the mix again, as I'd mentioned, to just listen to radio again, and there are commercials for podcasting. Like, you need to do this. It reaches more people than radio. On radio.
Oh, that's so fucking disrespectful. That's like, oh my god. That's like if someone like wrote into us being like, I would like to sponsor Anime Sickos podcast, and their ad read that they had us read was just like, what you need to do is beat fucking Tom up in the street. If you see him, hit him. God damn it.
Yeah, and it's framed as like, not radio sucks, listen to podcasts, because that's the other thing about everything about radio, is that it's all entrepreneur mindset, right? It's just like, this is about growing your business, whatever. Podcasting is about this. And honestly, radio should just be not. Shouldn't be about anything. It should be goofing. It should be goofs, toilet sounds. The other thing that's kind of annoying is that it's made so people drop in and out constantly. So you're like discouraged from having like any good runners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, please continue. That on the letter that we are told we are right.
Yeah, local musicians have no home on local radio outside of specifically your nonprofit community radio stations, which are the last bastion of what radio should be. This is so fucking big because I've been on a crazy kick lately of reading books from the library about different music genres. I read the big jazz book. I read a book about prog by David Weigel from the Washington Post that was written so badly I could barely believe it. Whoever was the editor on that book should either get a new job or do what Elon should do. And then I also read Please Kill Me, the oral history of punk in the New York in the 70s. And in all of these instances, big reasons why like beloved genres happened, like why you know about them and like other great bands started up, was because a guy, like a single guy on the radio, got a bee in his bonnet about this new record and was just like sucks to be you guys. This is playing all day. And like
that's what college radio is supposed to do. Like literally, it's like it had a huge impact on like Blondie at the time because like it was like she was coming up and like all these stations that weren't like the real thing would play these records. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those all those colleges still have radio stations. You can listen to them, like to be clear, but I feel the function is different.
And I'm talking not just about college radio, like the radio station in New York. Like a guy would be like, "You hear these freaks?" and put the Ramones on. And like this was before they had a lot of like this was before they were famous. This was when they were brand fucking new, and they're all just like street children who were addicted to heroin. And just cause like some guy decided like, yeah, I'm gonna put this on. I mean, like that's the whole thing. Like, how is
that can't happen? Forward? There's no way for a guy to be like, I'm going to put this on now. The decision making is based purely on whimsy. No, it can't happen now. The other thing that I keep going back to, and this is a total indictment, is the way that it sounds absolutely unchanged from when I listened to it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The music's obviously got like more Mumford and Sons or whatever, but like you get my point.
Yeah, it's not good. It can't move forward if no one is stirring the pot, and no one is stirring the pot because you're required to put on the playlist that has been determined by the algorithm to be the most safe. And well, okay.
Are there weird SoundCloud rappers anymore? Like, what's that space like? Is that all gone?
Dude, yes. There's this is part of the thing. I mean, this is what you look at any musician online talking about making music. They'll say the same thing, which is that it's easier than ever to make and produce music that is like good enough to get out there. And there is like the scene in terms of like people making interesting stuff is like so vibrant, but it's sort of wasted because there is just no way to get it out. There's no way to distribute it, market it, get it listened to. And even if you do, it doesn't matter. You won't make any money. So like you can be, and people are making interesting stuff, but like in this is the same way like we're making interesting podcast episodes, but like we are very niche and will be forever. And like, what can you do about that? If only there was some mass media that could key into the interesting things and share them with people who might want to hear them but don't have the time or knowledge to dig into the obscure. Oh, and that's the other thing. You need the people who are making like this shit to care about music. And that's a thing across the entire awful Death to America, evil American culture. That's the whole NBA
It's
mindset.
really stopping the weirdos from being weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you want the people in charge to be business geniuses who read books about business. And it's like, no, I don't want the people in charge of the radio to know about business. I want them to know about music. But they don't get that job because people who know about music aren't good at business. And they want people who are good at business. Fuck this. Let's continue. Let's read this letter. These community radio stations, the good ones, are of course unprofitable and thus will die a horrible death, being slowly fed feet first into the machine. Please donate to them for your tote bag so they can last another month.
The Chicago area one, the one that I know of, is Chirp. That That's the one. Chirp Radio, Chicago.
Yeah.
Give them tote bag money.
Yeah, they're like are they internet radio or real radio?
They are. They're internet radio. I think they're based off the Rockwell stop. I think that's not like
Hell yeah.
the physical stop, but I think they're right next to it.
I gotta go and like have them hire me to
Just hang around until they like, yeah, fucking get in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna play all of Close to the Edge 3 times in a row. I was recently witness to my company's hip hop station undergoing a forced mutation into what is now ostensibly a throwback station. Read Top 40 to appeal to a larger audience. This change puts it in direct competition with 2 of our own stations, which already fill that format. This I can't believe. Hip hop is not the commercial genre no more, huh?
I thought that was the main like mover.
I did too. It was my whole youth. What?
Like B96 was like a huge station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, oh my god. The hip hop station, while not profitable to national agencies, did very well in local stations and was actually profitable. But the scent of blood in the water and the desire to appeal to the broader, read white audience was too much for our consultants and managers. All 60 to 70-year-old white men. Like I said, fucking guys who are good at business and not music. Fuck them. So they took it out back and shot it. Both people in charge of hip-hop programming, 66% of our POC employees, just walked out. The station is now vastly underperforming. Whoo!
Radio. Yeah, I wanted to do that as a career, and then I was like, oh, I got to go to grad school because the only way to a decent market is to work in a very tiny market for a very long time and work your way back. And I would have been subjected to many of the things now being described.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I worked at the college station, there was a guy who was like, it was so funny because he was a former professional DJ and he was just like, oh, I got to go to college. Like, I just need to. So he was like older, but like, he was like good in a way that was like, he was just on another level because he was like, did it for a job.
Yeah.
And he was obviously very like into it. And like his move after it was like, I have to go now to, I think, Lubbock, Texas, or like, just like, that's like the only, like, these are like my options market wise. And I mean, he did it because it's like, it's what he wanted to do. But like, he was just like the best. And it just made me think like, man, I guess I got to go to grad school, which was also wrong.
This is an example of everything that's happening in America. Like, if you live in American society for 2 fucking seconds, this is a sort of inescapable observation, which is just like, I feel like it should be that things that are good and everyone likes stick around. However, no, things that are good and everyone likes get taken away. There's a great line in The Bee Sting where the daughter is talking to a German exchange student, and she's like, why do the people in this country not simply say what they want? And the daughter is like, this is historically a country where if you say what you want, someone comes and takes it away. And that's where we live too, except it's our own self taking it away from our own self. Fucking Christ. Like, how hard should it be to imagine that, like, what if there was a free way that you could get music, a morning zoo, and traffic and weather together on the 8s?
Also, we're talking about FM radio. AM radio doesn't have to be a desert of right-wing shit. Like, it doesn't. Like, for market reasons, I understand it is. But, like, if you just literally were going to have only talk stuff, you could have interesting stuff on AM radio. Will it ever happen? No, for the reasons we described. But no, it's just that's the radicalizing the wrong way frequency.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate it. You know what they should do is make us be on the radio, and then we can pick like freak music that everyone
Chirp,
hates.
we'll play the Pokemon theme. What else will we do? What's our value add to a community radio station as quirky white boys?
Well, one thing that's never been said to a large audience is the music opinion of white boys. So this is going to like really open up a lot of people's minds to a sort of twisted worldview that no one's seen before. I'll play jazz. You ever heard of Miles Davis? You ever heard of this guy John Coltrane? He plays this strange golden tube.
I think the show would honestly be us saying how much folk punk sucks, but then only playing it.
It does suck.
It does suck. It's absolutely indefensible. AJJ is like my favorite band of all time. I can hold both of these ideas at the same time because I have ascended.
Yeah. Like if for our latest Record Club album was HHA Knife Man, their best album. And when I was giving the sort of like context, like to present it, I'm like, of course, lead singer's voice sucks and sounds fucking terrible, but I like it.
It does. It's raspy and it stops just before being whiny.
Oh, it gets whiny.
And no, it gets whiny, but like you know what I mean though? Like there are some people who the bass line is like, this is whiny. Like it just feels whiny. Mm-hmm. Also, when he really strains his voice, it's like a nerd thing. And I mean this in a good way. I love it.
He sounds like a therapy boy. Like he sounds like he's in therapy now.
Yes. And I do not mean that he probably, no, I hope he is. I don't know. He's an anarchist. Do you think he believes in that? Who knows?
I don't know. I was remembering that they're in fucking on Knife Man. There's a song where he says, I hate whiny fucking songs like this, but I can't afford a therapist.
Oh, so yeah. Direct evidence in the Record Club song, no. Yeah. And also, I don't know if he's an anarchist. I was thinking of Pat the Bunny, who's the other not big, but like when I think of folk punk, I think of Pat the Bunny or the Wingnut Washers Union guy. He's another band that again is just Pat the Bunny that I can't remember.
Yeah,
he's got another bad voice that rules.
Yeah, he can't fucking sing. It sounds like it hurt. Like that's the thing. I love it when it sounds like it's hurting the singer to be doing this. I heard that Pat the Bunny's brother made a post lately, being like, "What's Pat up to?" And it's like, well, Pat quit music because they need money now. The years in which it was okay to have no money stopped happening.
That's over, yeah.
Now he has a job and isn't taking heroin anymore. So, pretty good. I think Paul Baribeau follows me on Blue Sky.
That is one of the major. Would you say folk punk? I would definitely. I mean, it's coming up in the algo for sure.
Oh yes, I would. Talk about like songs designed to absolutely annihilate a 21-year-old white boy. Like, oh my God. Like you will never find more brutally affecting emotional songwriting that only works if you're in your early 20s. If you're like 35 and you hear this, you're like, come on, dude. But man, you're 22. It's just like this is what it means to feel.
Which that should be the theme of the show, which is we're actually 22.
Yeah. This is a new thing. Actually, we should like study this phenomenon because I don't think this has ever happened before. Where the things we liked when we were like in our teens are like we like
just
focus
better,
on
yeah.
it forever. Like
yeah.
most people keep evolving as they get older.
Yeah. It's just like because the new stuff came out isn't good because it didn't, like it would have come out when we were that age, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're the anime sickos and we're here to say anime is bad in a war crimes way.
Folks, that's Anime Sickos. We done. However, I will plug before we go one more time because now I have to, my head cannot wrap itself around basic concepts such as we record this now but release later. In future, when release, things different. When we release, you'll be able to play my game Time Force X Mission of Lenin for free right now at any time, really.
Can I give my pitch?
You can give your pitch.
If for some reason you don't love Tom, Sicko Tom, there's some Tom McHenry ducks in this shit.
Yeah, Tom McHenry did all the art, and it is out of this world. Every time he would send me a new piece, I would gasp. It was so fucking funny. You can get this game. You go to anime-sickos-podcast.itch.io.
This will be in the description.
Yeah, and you can play it. It's a browser game. You don't need to download anything. So here's what you do. You are a time cop who's a duck because I was like, I wonder who the player character should be because I don't want it to be like too gendered or too racialized. Maybe like a duck just to, as a placeholder. And so he drew a duck and then did a bunch of possible alternates that we replaced the duck with. And
We're going with the duck.
Yeah, as soon as I saw them, I'm like, what were we thinking that the duck wouldn't be the final? It's the duck. Everyone else is a human. You go back in time, you have to stop John Lennon from being assassinated. The game itself is a playthrough is short. It'll take you about 5-10 minutes. However, there are 20 endings, so you're going to want to replay it at least a few times because there are many different ways you can go. You can change your stats to influence whether you prioritize being a genius or being a moron. Both of them have their upsides and downsides, and they influence your route. Whether or not you're a genius or a moron, you're going to take different actions, obviously.
Not going to give it away, but there's a part where something gets run into the ground. And I was so proud of Tom. I was like, oh, wow. You have become strong.
A very Sideshow Bob Rakes type of gag. It's great. Also, it includes the first recorded rap I've ever done. There's an original rap song performed by me. I do both voices. It's a sort of a Beastie Boys style where one of them is like, one of them's like this. You know how the Beastie Boys
He's
are.
not joking. This is this is sent to me out of context once.
Lots of jokes about Vandergraaf Generator, the prog band that sucks ass. I love this game. I put a lot into it. It's very fun. It's all text based. It looks like Disco Elysium in the sense that there's pictures on the left and a piece of receipt paper with text on the right, and you pick options from a list of things you want to do. It's great. Play it. It would make me happy.
It's just fucking good.
Yeah. Also, I can't emphasize enough how good the drawings are. When you see the little portrait of John Lennon that Tom McHenry drew, you will laugh. When you see, again, I'm not going to spoil it, but like there is like an ultimate moron path that it's difficult to achieve. It is likely that in any given playthrough, it will not be possible to go down this ultimate moron path.
You can be stupid, but not that stupid.
However, if you get the ultimate moron path, and this is why it's one of my favorites because it's so hard to get, but it contains like half of the art in the game. just for that. And some of those backgrounds, there's one in particular I'm thinking of that is just so rich. It's like 10 jokes at once. I can't believe it. Tom McHenry, the great genius of all time. Follow Tom McHenry and read his comics if you're not. If you're not, how dare you?
We will fight you.
Again, that's at anime-sickos-podcast.itch.io. The game is called Time Force X, Mission of Lennon. You can save John Lennon. You might think that the joke is that you always lose, and you're mostly
happens,
correct.
For sure. Yeah.
However, it is possible to save John Lennon. I have seen that some people have achieved that, and we're very mad that they did.
Oh, that it worked. They're like, oh, this was, oh, man.
There's
really?
I wish I hadn't saved him. Because, it's good. I'm so proud of it. Play the game. Time for its exhibition of Lennon. Anyway, that's all the time we have for Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I've been Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Tom Harrison. Joe was also a sicko. You can follow him on Blue Sky at Sharia Uncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Blue Sky at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. You can give us money at patreon.com/Anime Sickos if you want. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.